Welcome to the Survivor's Guide to Thriving podcast, the show for people who are ready to break out of survival mode in order to build a truly thriving life. I'm Amanda Solman, and along with Mark Jewell, my co-host and the founder and CEO of Mark Jewell Speaking and Training, we break down common roadblocks that keep people stuck surviving and share ideas to help you thrive each and every day.
Guys, today I want to talk about something that has really been coming up a lot for me lately, and it's under the topic of this: what else is possible? What else is possible for you? Here's what's bringing this up today. I literally just got done. In fact, I'm in the vehicle driving as I record this, and I needed to get this out and get this into the recorder and out into the ether and into your earballs, because I know that it's a really important topic that people really need to start getting their head around at a deeper level, or so I believe. You see, I just came from this event. And at this event, we ran what's called our Surviving to Thriving 10X Challenge. And what I do at this event is I give each team a certain amount of money, and I challenge them to use their creativity, their resourcefulness, and about 90 minutes of time to turn whatever that amount of money is into 10 times that amount. So if it's $20, it's $200. If it's $30, it's $300. If it's $500, if it's $50, it's $500. You start to get the picture, right? You can 10X just about anything. And whenever I give groups this activity, this task, and I ask them to go about starting to create 10 times the amount that I've given them to start with, they look at me a little bit cross-eyed. They look at me a little bit like, what the hell are you talking about? How are we going to get this done? And I go on to give them the instructions on how to run the activity. And let me tell you that the first 10 minutes that these teams start to work together, and it is competitive, but the first few minutes that they start to work together, they're always a little bit confounded. They're a little bit confused and maybe even a little bit scared about what the hell are we going to do? How are we going to make this happen? And the inevitable results, without fail, and I've run this activity many times, always with 100% success rate since we figured out how to run the activity. And it always amazes the people that go through this. Once they figure out their strategy and they start taking action, it always amazes them what they are able to do. Now, all the money that is created, and by the way, this is real money in real time that goes to an organization of their choosing. All the money going to these charities, becomes the focus, and it becomes about doing something for something else, for someone else, for something bigger than them. But people are always surprised what they're able to do in such a short amount of time. And so today's group, simply all they had to do was turn $20 into $200, and that would have been the activity. They could have quit there. They could have said, "Hey, that's great. This is good enough," and then quit. And they would have had the rest of the hour, 90 minutes, whatever they had left to just be done and go mess around and go screw off. But they continued to ask themselves the question, okay, we hit our small goal in a short amount of time. What else is possible? I was really proud of this group today. You see, it was the Minnesota FFA Foundation that I had an opportunity to work with, an organization that is near and dear to my heart. I wouldn't be doing what I do today if it wasn't for my involvement in FFA, and more specifically Minnesota FFA. And I tell you what, these guys had decided we're going to contribute any funds created through the activity today to the Blue Jackets Bright Futures program, which helps to pay for FFA jackets for students that may have financial need to be able to do so. Now, these guys went to work on that activity, and all they had to do was, just fund a few jackets. The minimum requirement to complete the activity would have been about a grand total of 3 teams doing $200 each and contributing about $600 total, which would have bought, maybe 7 FFA jackets, which would have been great because there's 7 kids that certainly could use a hand up in this lifetime. But what was really interesting is these guys got into it. Most of them blew past their goal, even though it looked daunting and it looked intimidating and they didn't know what they were going to do at first. Most of them blew past it in the first 5 minutes. Their little businesses that they created were donating, were creating, were contributing more money than they imagined. And they went after this, and they continued to work as teams, and they might plateau for a little while, but they said, what else can we do? Who else can we talk to? Who else can we get involved with this? Who else can we get engaged? What else can we do? As we went through this activity, it was amazing. But each of the teams, they started to get competitive, they started to get a little bit secretive, and they started to figure out how could they beat the other teams. And when it all was boiled down, there was a very clear first, second, and third place. But the real winners were the people who were going to actually receive this money, because this small team, in just 90 minutes and just a few people in the room with these 3 small teams, ended up raising more than $5,000. I only asked them to do 5, maybe 600, and they 10x'd that as a room, which was not the requirement. And it boiled back down to one thing. What else? What else can we do? See, here's what I've found is when you can figure out what makes you feel like you're on purpose. And I'm not talking about your life purpose. I'm not talking about your life mission. I'm talking about, can you find something in this moment or in this day that helps you get clear on what you're creating? What is the mission? What is the purpose in this moment? If you can get clear within this moment what you're creating, almost anything becomes possible. You can shut out all the other things and get really focused on that activity. The other thing that comes through as I think about this group and what really worked today was the team accountability. I remember a couple of times as I was facilitating and floating around the room and talking to some of the participants, they would be asking questions, and others on their team would shoo me away and try to get me away from them, so they would stay focused on the task. They were holding each other accountable to making calls and contributions. And anytime I do this activity, there's always maybe 1 or 2 people in the room who say, okay, I'll contribute a little bit of my own money towards this cause, and then I'll be done. I'll just go do my other work, whatever else I have to do. But as soon as I started to see that happen within this room, everybody started pushing and helping each other grow, and they were having fun and they were working together, but they held each other accountable to what was possible. So when you're clear on what you're creating, when you have that purpose in the moment, and then you combine that with group accountability, with people around you who will not let you quit, who will not let you fail, it's pretty amazing how we can all of a sudden start to get exponential results. And guys, it all starts when we ask ourselves, what else is possible? What else is possible? You know, I run into a lot of people out here in the marketplace and the companies that we go to work in, and even though maybe they're doing okay, they've stopped questioning what else is it. And I want to be really careful and not crossing the line saying, hey, you need to take on more, you need to do more things. That's not it at all. I'm not suggesting anybody needs to take on more stuff just for the sake of doing more, just for having more things to cross off your list. I know that you've got enough of that stuff going on already. The question is what else could you do to be more efficient and more effective? What else could you do to be more happy in your relationships at home? What could you do that would help you be more healthy? What could you do that would help you have greater capacity? What else is there that could help you grow and expand? Guys, as soon as we stop asking the question, what else, and we simply just start taking on more to try and do more, that's when we actually start to go backwards. Doing more and being busy is not the point. Being effective, having capacity, and using that capacity to focus on a clear outcome. Building accountability teams in our life, at home, at work, in our friend circles, in our church circles, and everywhere else in our life. Having those accountability teams to help us focus on what we're clearly creating, that becomes where the magic happens when you simply start to ask yourself, what else? What else is possible for me? And if you're maybe stuck in a moment of your life right now where you feel like, God, I just feel like I'm beating my head against the wall. I just feel like I have so much going on. And just, so many things. I can't take on anymore. I can't do any more things. There's no other way to get this done. I'm gonna ask you to pause right now and just ask yourself, what else? What if I don't like that story that I'm currently living in? What else could possibly be possible for me in that moment, in this moment, and moments going forward? You know that my mission and the mission here at MJST is to help people and organizations stop surviving and start thriving. That's why the name of this podcast is called the Survivor's Guide to Thriving Podcast. That's why we continue to create more programming and more resources and more opportunity for you and your friends, your colleagues to be able to engage and be a part of something bigger, to be a part of something more where we stand up and say, I don't want to just survive my life anymore. I truly want to thrive, and I deserve to have that. My friends, I would just ask you to consider today, what else is possible for you if you were to suspend belief, to be able to get out of that survival mentality and truly start to thrive. All it takes is asking the question and being honest and getting clear. Get clear on what it is that you want to create, and then surround yourself with people who will not let you quit in your journey towards that mission to stop surviving and start thriving. It's your time to thrive today, my friends. Let's go get it.
Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to jump over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. We appreciate the feedback, and it helps other people find the show. As always, if you're looking for more resources to go from surviving to thriving, check out our website at www.markjewelltraining.com. That's Jewell with 2 L's. And you can find us under Mark Jewell Speaking and Training on all the major social networks. Remember, survival is dead. It's your time to thrive today. See you next week.